Church, the people, the programs, church is bringing me to a better place in my life that allows me to be the best person that I can be for all the people and all the children that I see each and every day. Church is offering me the opportunity to sing for the Lord and to stretch my voice.
Church is not a building. Church is a group of people who come together for religious purposes. We meet, we congregate, we form a community around our God. We gather together in a common belief to share our common purpose, worshiping our Creator, being reminded of who He is and what He has promised us. Gathered together, we are church.
And in my life, I've been blessed with such a wonderful, wonderful life. I've always had a hard time figuring out, how do I thank God for the life He's allowed me to live? And I think one of the ways that I try to thank Him is going to church and being with other God-fearing people.
Going to church every week is changing my life by surrounding me with people of faith that encourages my walk with Christ. Having fellowship with other believers is really great because I get to see how God is working in other people and building up their faith, which makes me also reflect on God's presence and goodness in my life. Just being able to talk about our faith with other believers and worship together inspires me to continue to pursue God's heart and live a righteous life with love for others.
So church has been a big part of our lives. We were in and out of it growing up, and our kids have really pushed us in seeing the world the way it is today. We've really wanted to teach them that there's more to life, and that what our main purpose is to live for God.
When COVID hit, we were grateful for the online church, and we sat together and held hands and raised the roof with our songs. But believe me, neither one of us can carry a tune in a bucket, so it was not pretty. But he yearned to be back at church with our church family and our own family. When God took Jack home, there was not a decision for me to make. I needed to be back with my church family. They have literally been the hands and arms of God, propping me up and walking beside me in my grief journey.
So my first daughter was born April 1st, 2020, which was right at the beginning of the pandemic when everything started shutting down and we had to go into isolation, and our church had shut down just a couple weeks prior to her birth. So whenever she was born, we were stuck at home, we weren't going to church, we weren't seeing our friends and family, and it was a very isolating time to us. And I think the enemy really tried to use that time to instill this sense of fear of how I'm going to take care of my kid, and is she going to be okay in the midst of all of this. And I've told my husband time and again that once we started going back to church, things started finally feeling normal again. And so I think that's the most important thing that church brings to my life, is gathering with fellow believers and communing with them and just catching up with friends and family.
When we first started going to church, we really just did it for our kids and didn't quite realize the impact it would have on my husband and I. And God has just completely transformed our family and our marriage, and we're just so grateful for the encouragement we receive at our church and all the friends we've made, and we're just very blessed.
And we just love the church. We love being at church. We meet people that we know, some that we don't, but we invite everyone that wants to come, and we would love to have you. Church means to me is a place where you can go and you can meet different people and have a camaraderie between the members and have a good time at church.
So the importance of church to me is, honestly, it's a time to reconnect yourself with God. It's sort of towards the end of the week, and sometimes during the week you stray away, you don't think about God as much. And to me, going to church every Sunday, sometimes on Wednesdays as well, is that chance to ground yourself, because God is our cornerstone, He's our rock. So it's a chance to ground yourself and remind yourself the importance of Jesus in your life and how you should be living.
I believe if I was alone in my walk with God, it would be more difficult without other godly people to lift me up. With a church, I can have that support and also have an opportunity to give back and show God's love by encouraging and helping the people of God. Plus, seeing God's work through the church is really amazing, and being part of that is fulfilling in my life.
And so I'm just truly, truly grateful to have a church family that, that I can count on if I need something, and that I hope that they will all know that they can count on me if they need something as well.
In our church, we care about one another. We care for one another. Church is people coming together to celebrate being God's children. We learn to care about God. We learn to care about one another. We learn to care about all of the children of God. Whether it's in a home, a tent, a storefront, an arena, or a cathedral.
Church is building me up in such a way that the world will never be able to tear me down. But remember, church is not a building. Church is the people that are in that building. Each and every one of those people. From the smallest to the oldest, each person has their gifts to share. And each of those people is sharing their gifts is what makes the difference in my life.
Find a group that you feel like you can commune with and that you can fellowship with, so that you're not allowing the enemy to try to sow this fear and this isolation into your life.
Let your church family love on you and help you to fall deeper in love with God.